All right, kids, with a win over the Iowa Hawkeyes in the 2023 NCAA Women's Basketball National Championship, the LSU Tigers won their first title last night, led by Jasmine Carson with 22 points off of the bench. I don't think she missed a shot in the first half. And the tournament's most outstanding player, the Bayou Barbie, Angel Reece. However, instead of simply talking about how great Reese is, along with her teammates and coaches, we're going to be talking about this.
After the game, finishing the way she started this season, LSU has been a confident group throughout.
Well, not just that, but people's response to it. Sports columnist Jose De Jesus Ortiz tweeted, "This is classless. Angel Reece is only 20, so she's still young, but taunting Caitlin Clark like this shows a pure lack of class. Win with class, lose with class, play with class. Clark's mom and dad can be proud that her daughter ignored the taunting. They raised her right." And Keith Olberman called Angel Reece a bleeping idiot. More on him later. Meanwhile, Dave Portnoy, who invented Barstool Sports, added, "Classless POS." And I want to pause there because he doubled and tripled down on this, which I guess is good instead of issuing some nonsense apology. See, on Twitter, many, including myself, pointed out that Iowa basketball player Caitlin Clark did the "you can't see me" thing just last week. See if you can spot the difference of these two pictures. Not only that, there was a game where she told another player, "You're down 15 points, shut up." Also, there was another game where she waves off a player in her face while she had the ball beyond the three-point line, letting her know that she knows she can't shoot. She knows that she knows she knows. That player, by the way, I think it was Raven Johnson from South Carolina, went 3 for 6 from 3 that game, so there's that. So the disrespect was there, but there's a disconnect to a Dave Portnoy. With that in mind, here he says, just to clarify, Angel thinks not defending the three-point line versus South Carolina was disrespectful to her. Am I taking crazy pills out here? And yes, Reese did say that. And no, Dave isn't taking crazy pills. And yes, it is disrespectful. And usually I wouldn't do this because I don't consider somebody's tweets to be the fullness of their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Twitter could be the equivalent of writing what you think on a bathroom wall. But when you've hit send on some 95,000 tweets like Dave Portnoy has, and you're like the El Presidente of Barstool Sports, I question how many tweets were dedicated to Caitlin Clark's disrespect. Besides, that's not what we're talking about. He moved the goalposts. The topic is having no class. And I guess because Angel Reece did the "you can't see me" thing and the "ring me" thing to or at Caitlin Clark, or perhaps Reese did her hand gesture for a longer duration in order to make sure that Clark saw it, that's the difference? That's the problem. Does he have a taunting stopwatch? I need to add, Angel Reece is completely unbothered by any of this. And as far as her swag and her bag, she's always been like this. She didn't have to do my Buckeyes like that. That was Reese from when she was a Maryland Terrapin before she transferred to Louisiana State. Angel can ball. She is unapologetic about who she is and what she can do. However, we can also say that about Caitlin Clark. It just seems like Caitlin Clark is allowed to be arrogant and Reese isn't. I could be wrong. Look, ESPN produced a segment called Caitlin Clark, Queen of Clapbacks. The focus, her clapping, "You're down 15 points, shut up," and of course the "you can't see me" hand wave, her trash talk as it's considered, was embraced and celebrated. It wasn't stigmatized and pathologized. I will concede to the fact though that Caitlin Clark wears it a little differently.
This is new, like right here. I don't know what
Do you get in it?
No, I don't like to do it. I wasn't doing it to other people. I was doing it to one of our coaches. Like I was like,
Not the coach.
I'm not face. No, our coach. I'm not face. Right here. Yeah,
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Good.
I'm not even going to get into the aspect of what's considered Caitlin's clapbacks coming from black culture. The point is, Caitlin Clark shouldn't have to apologize for not only being great, but knowing and showing that she's great. Caitlin Clark broke so many regular season and tournament records this year. She was the 2023 Naismith Player of the Year. And Angel Reece shouldn't be called classless for doing what is common among athletes, men or women, boys or girls, professional or amateur. Can't fake humble because others are insecure, or, in Keith Olberman's case, uninformed. Keith used to be an anchor at ESPN. He was a Sports Center personality, man. In addition to calling Reese an idiot, as I alluded to earlier, he said, quote, "Doesn't matter the gender, the sport, the background. You're seconds away from a championship and you do something like this and overshadow all the good. Mindless, classless, and what kind of coach does this team have?" He will go on to apologize and admit to being uninformed about the backstory on this. Quote, "I don't follow hoops, college or pro, men or women. I had no idea about Clark. Both were wrong." If that's the case, then why was those Twitter fingers so itchy? Here's Keith Olberman's statement. I'm not going to read it. We could and should be talking about the growth of women's sports, basketball in particular, and how this year's women's tournament is breaking viewership records. The ratings for last night's championship game aren't back yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it set a new record, seeing how 2 of this year's Sweet 16 games were the most viewed games on record. OSU versus UConn is number 1. Go Bucks. To give her more credit, Caitlin Clark is a huge part of this. She isn't the only part of it, though. I mean, Caitlin Clark is a junior. Angel Reece is a sophomore, so the game's in a great place. Moving forward, let's celebrate women and athletes having passion. That's what it is.
I remember a couple months back you said, people need to play with that fire. I play with that fire. And now here we are at the national championship game. Social media is buzzing over the quote-unquote 2 best trash talkers in the country, you and Angel Reece. I presume you view that actually as a positive thing, not a negative thing, playing with passion. Do you view it as a good thing for this game?
Absolutely. I view, matchups that people get really excited about as a really good thing for this game. I think that's what excites people and gets them to the TV, but when they turn the TV on, they understand it's not an individual game. It wasn't Caitlin versus Leah. We weren't even matched up against each other at all. It's not going to be Caitlin versus Angel. That's not what's going to win a national championship, but that's what gets them excited about watching the game. So I think more than anything, people are starting to understand women can play with, excitement and a passion and a fire about themselves, and that's what's fun.
So we can invest in women's sports, which ESPN did with a $34 million deal to broadcast all Division I championships. And with that current deal expiring next year, the TV rights could be worth, up to $80 million, maybe $112 million reportedly. I'm part of the problem. I love sports and I watch a lot, but I don't talk about it much on this channel. It would be great if I highlighted any of this absent of the social or cultural ramifications of gamesmanship versus showmanship. And Portnoy agrees. Quote, "Sad that instead of talking about what a great game LSU played, and they did play great, all anybody is talking about are the refs and how classless Angel Reece is." So I'll give the Bayou Barbie the final word. That's the difference. We gonna be all right.
I'm happy. I mean, all year I was critiqued about who I was. The narrative, I don't fit the narrative. I don't fit in the box that y'all want me to be in. I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. So this was for the girls that look like me, that's gonna speak up on what they believe in. It's unapologetically you. And that's what I did it for tonight. This was for it was bigger than me tonight. It was bigger than me. Twitter is gonna go in a rage every time. And I mean, I'm happy. I feel like I've helped grow women's basketball this year. I'm super happy and excited. So I'm looking forward to celebrating in the next season.